Do you suffer, or have you ever suffered from anxiety? Well, do you know that anxiety is really a kind of a secondary emotion, and it's actually really a form of, do you know what? Anxiety is basically fear, isn't it? And it's usually fear of something quite specific. Do you know what that is? We may have heard the expression depression is regret over the past, while anxiety is fear of the future. So anxiety really comes from living in or creating a fearful future. And if you think about your own experience, all anxiety pretty much involves fear of some future, doesn't it? But how does that help us? Well, you may have heard of the absolute classic book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. So in the book, Susan Jeffers delineates 3 levels of fear. So there's the surface level fears, level 1, which are the common ones we all hear about. Fear of changing your career, starting your own business, fear of going to parties, fear of leaving an unhappy relationship, and so on. Basically, I suppose it's fear of change or the unknown, really. And we can also be afraid of things that might just happen to us, like fear of aging, fear of death, or fear of having an accident. And all of these fears are kind of surface level fears. What tends to underlie them are what she then calls level 2 fears. So these fears tend to involve our ego being exposed or hurt, like fear of rejection, fear of failure or success, fear of being vulnerable or helpless, fear of disapproval, and so on. So these fears tend to cause the level 1 fears. But then Jeffers comes up with the 3rd level, which pretty much underlie all of them, and that's the deepest level of all, the deepest fear, which is simply fear that you won't be able to handle it. After all, would we be afraid of any of those other fears if we knew we could just cope with them? I mean, if you knew you could handle whatever life threw at you, would there be anything left to fear? Of course not. In fact, all anxiety or fear pretty much comes down to lack of confidence or trust in yourself. Trust that whatever life throws at you, you'll be able to handle it. Which brings me to the good news. The best way to combat anxiety must be simply to build your own self-confidence. Thanks so much for watching. Do share this if you know anyone who might benefit. And as always, please subscribe to follow the Rebel Wembley adventures. Can't wait to see you again. Bye for now.